What is up, guys? My name is Sawcasm, and today I have for you a double MOAB, playing some ground war domination on the map Outpost using the MP7 with extended mags and silencer, as well as a 2 attachment proficiency. Now, one thing you'll notice that I do in this game is a pretty good start, I would say. Pretty much using this little building, this little shack to play ring around the rosy with my enemies, and they're not sure which direction I'm coming from because I keep poking out from each side and kind of spin around and juke them out. And it's a really good strategy if you have like one big piece of cover that really obstructs a view, and there's 2 directions that you can pop out from, because the enemy is going to be kind of clueless. They're not, pretty much they have a 50% chance of guessing which direction you are going to come out of, and you are pretty much always going to know where they're going to be, just because they're going to be in an open space away from that cover. So that's a really good way to use a piece of cover when you can, so I would definitely suggest doing that. But yeah, so double MOAB, and one thing that you'll notice I do in this game is, for the first MOAB at least, I'm playing a little bit aggressive right now, but for the most part, I'm definitely playing really careful, making good decisions, and trying to take it slow, slow down my playstyle a little bit. I know that people think for like a double MOAB, you have to be constantly rushing, constantly in the enemy spawn, and while I do end up in the enemy spawn for a good portion of this game, it definitely helps because, obviously there's going to be a lot more traffic, but I am trying to, play it safe, take cover where I can, and kind of just use my environment to my advantage, as well as not hit any enemies head on, because if you have the specialist bonus and you only get enemies, in a 1 vs 1 scenario, you're going to win the majority of the time. So that's what I'm trying to do, especially for the first MOAB, because when you're going for like double MOABs, or I don't know, a big kill streak or something, at least for the first MOAB, you want to take it slow, because if you, get a safe MOAB, if you take your time, take it slow, you could pretty much always guarantee yourself a MOAB. And I don't mean like 100% of the time, but a good portion of the time, if you really try, you take it slow, you take your time, and make really good decisions, you're constantly thinking about what you're doing, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get the MOAB if you're a decent player to begin with. But you don't always have to be constantly rushing. You can take your time, especially for the first one, because then after you get the first one, you have the whole rest of the game. I don't know how I almost missed that guy in the back. That was kind of lucky of me, but I skipped forward a little bit because basically I was trying to, like I said, be really careful. I know it was like only a few kills away, so I'm really taking my time here. But yeah, as I was saying, if you get the first MOAB really safely, even by like the halfway point of the game, which in domination is like around 100 points, especially if you assume that your team gonna be, in the same position that you're gonna be for the rest of the game, meaning if you have 2 flags, then it's a good chance that if you've been holding them at 2 flags for the first half of the game, that you're gonna be able to hold them 2 flags for the second half of the game. Now, this doesn't always happen, but just as a general rule, this is generally how the game works, unless the other team makes a sick comeback, which can happen, but it's not very likely, because early dominance is extremely important. The teams that start well from the beginning usually tend to continue well throughout. But so you get that first MOAB, you still have another half of the game to pretty much do the same thing, to take your time and play the same way you were, and getting another one. But basically what I'm trying to get at is, you really don't have to be rushing constantly to get a double MOAB like people think. You can really, take your time, take it slow, and it works. It works, as you can see in this gameplay. And I noticed that the enemy team is taking C. I really want to defend the flag as much as possible, because I don't like losing. Even if you do get the MOAB, of course you still want the win, but right now my team was being triple capped, so I decided to defend C, and even though they got it, now I know that they're all spawning in this area, because I know they're not at B, I know they're not at A, my team just captured it, so most likely spawns are going to flip. Now this route that I use right here is really good. I really like it. If the enemy team does have C, basically you run into this building where a good majority of the snipers will be hiding, like you see here, and there are constantly people sitting back here. Yeah, it's a good vantage point, you can see a good portion of the map, but it's really predictable. That's the problem with it. Since so many people go there, you're going to get people who are going to come up, use that route that I used, or come up the other way, and come up with a silencer and SMG and be able to flank you really easy. You won't even know what hit you by the time you're dead, because you're just focused on that big open area, right in front of you. Maybe it's a good spot for sniping, so you're just, hard scoping. You're one of those guys, those hard scope snipers, and you're not really focused on anything else. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Someone with an SMG silencer is going to flank, rush up, and you're not even going to know what hit you. They're going to rape you in the face. But now, this is another spot that I like to use when the enemy team has A instead. Basically, I like to chill between down these steps around the A flag and the building behind me, because that is where a good portion of the enemies will spawn. You see I kind of go back here behind the building, which is another good spot, and you can kind of use those blue barrels to the left of me as cover, no matter which direction they're coming from, whether you're facing this way or the opposite way, which I just came from. But this building right here and the building to the left of me is where you'll tend to find a lot of enemies. They kind of hang out there, and basically what I like to do is patrol that area and pretty much just control it, dominate it, and you should be fine. So there's my second MOAB. I was pretty happy about this one actually, because for those final few kills when I saw a bunch of people with marksman, I wasn't sure if I was gonna survive, but luckily. What? Slow motion MOAB death. That was sick. Oh my god. I don't know why I just flipped out there. I just thought that was really cool, to be honest. But yeah, so I thought I was gonna die there, but luckily I did get the MOAB. So I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, guys. Leave me some feedback in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and this was a double MOAB, so I guess I have to do a double outro. Bow, bow.